On. Folks, welcome to Train of Thought, Chugga Chugga. I'm your conductor, and I'm here with two individuals who made this dream come true, who made this happen. And if you don't know them already, if you aren't aware, if you've been living under a rock, if you've been somewhere in outer space, like floating, maybe in your own koozie, like your head's been boiled in it, I want to introduce to you on I can't even figure out which side it is.
Did you just dab, dude? Just like
Yeah.
Just dab to the side. So we have on this side.
no, it's all backward.
The other left. We have the author, the giant himself of The Giant and the Smalls, Mr. Nick Smith. Yeah, brother. And if you folks out there have not read it or have not given this to your kids to read, it's time now, because it's going to be a Pixar movie pretty soon. He's going to be talking with some big wigs in a little bit, and they might even cast me. No, I'm kidding. But he's out to serve the world. He's on a mission to help 100 million people out there, and he's got probably the greatest wingman, the greatest, I don't even call sidekick is disrespect to you, because you are a superhero in your own right. We have Ryan the Lion Morris on this side. I got it right. So as I do all the time when I'm bugging your shows, Giants, welcome and thanks,
man. Yeah, that's an intro.
That is. I think that's the show right there. So, all right, good to have you on. See ya.
Wrap it up.
Game over.
So, as you all see, we are all rocking hats. We did not coordinate this. This is just what happened, and I am not in my typical black polo because we had to represent B2Do. I am a giant. There we go. And I appreciate you, Ryan,
I'm
for
the
wearing
only
the
one
shirt.
in a Budweiser. I'm way off, dude. It's like, yeah.
But man, y'all are. There's a saying, give people the roses now. So here we go, right? You two are two of the most generous people I know, hardworking, ambitious, loving, ferociously loving guys I've ever met, and I'm really.
Did you say sexy? I thought I heard that too.
I heard and bitches.
What was the? Oh yeah,
Super ambitious.
Yeah, we are some biatches.
The most motivated and bitches.
We are the biggest biatches you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah.
Now we just eliminated like 2/3 of our audience.
Right.
So this is
that's my
all the
job,
kids at home.
right?
This is not the family episode, so earmuffs to anybody out there right now. Put the kids away. Put them in a camper or something like.
Yeah,
Throw
right.
them in a camper.
Far away. Nick,
Probably not the trunk, just the camper.
Yeah.
No, just a camper. Give them a little bit of free reign. They need a little bit of arm space. But you guys are my dudes. I appreciate both of you. Love both of you. And now that we get all the mushy stuff out the way, the thing that's on my mind, well, actually, this is to show train of thought. So I'm curious, what is on your mind?
What's on your mind, Nick? You go first this time.
Yeah. Well, I just, I got to sit in conversation. I just trained a room full of people, and this is pre-recorded, so I'll say tonight. So if somebody's wondering, it's pre-recorded here, but just went from that call to this, and on my mind is this shift in my way of being around. I spent all this time learning the science and things behind things and really never connected with the heart of it. And I'm feeling this shift in me of really connecting with people from the heart with that information. So what's on my mind is that blending the worlds of spirituality and science, bringing those two together and really serving people. So is that a little too deep? Should we?
No, man.
You went
a little
like
bit.
6 feet too deep, bro.
We were going for the 1 foot mark, and dude,
You're doing great, and then
you just stomped the mud hole in it. It's like, yeah. No,
I was a terrible wingman. I was supposed to be the one that, Nick, that's too far.
It's too far.
don't do it.
Have you seen that? There's a coach that has an assistant that pulls him back from the line. He's on TikTok all the time.
Yeah,
He's
that's
just
his
got
job
own
is just to
assistant.
like
Yeah.
hold him like side
Yep.
by side. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that too.
I've never seen that before.
Football coach. Yeah, when he pulls him out of the way for the referees to walk by and stuff like that, because
Oh,
he's
really?
always in the way. Yeah, that's his only job.
He's
It's
just
my job. Yeah, but
hold.
I just failed.
Ryan's is the shover though. He's
Yeah.
like, he pushes me right in front of the referee, and
Yeah.
it's like, damn it.
But
That's
he
not
gets
what
like
I
the look to
wanted.
the side, like, wasn't me.
Yeah.
That's
on
a
your
great
mind,
thought though,
Mr.
Nick. Like I liked
Lion?
your what was on your mind. That was beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Spirituality and
Beautiful
science,
mind.
man. Tell me more about this because I'm intrigued now. We're
Man,
gonna go down this path.
yeah, let's go. Let's go. I
On.
think I think there's a lot of in my space anyway. The thought was to really just learn everything I could and just share that, right? Just learn about science, learn about physics, learn about neurobiology, learn about the universe, how it works, learn about all this stuff. And I kind of left the spiritual side out of it for a long time. To the point I was just about atheist in my life. I just didn't even care, about that stuff, religion, any of that.
Yeah.
I still hold back more to the spiritual side, but more of looking at the universe as just like amazing. How there's so much stuff you can't explain still.
Yeah.
You dive into physics and you just get mush mind because there's no way to explain how it all works mechanically. But to bring the two worlds together, to bring the tested and the proven and the evidential and bring in the magical with that is kind of a new world for me. And so just playing with the idea, you think about the giants and the smalls, it's in our world an impossibility, but then you go back through history and then it seems to be evidence that it's not that much of an impossibility. And so you have to question your beliefs around it. And then you start acting different around that. I mean, it's the same thing that we go through in creating anything we want in our lives. I don't know if I'm getting too scattered here, if that makes sense.
No, you're good. I mean,
I didn't
with
stop you, so
yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. Too far.
Ryan's just a clock guy, like, bro. No, I feel that, yeah, the magical, the unexplained with the things that we can test and the tangible that we can touch and process with our little puny human brains.
Our puny brains. They are not puny.
Puniest.
Yeah. They're not puny. Ryan has been really good at that side of it, the magical, the heartfelt, the heart-centered approach. So I've learned a lot watching him interact with people and engage in life. And he has these creations. He's just like, dude, I don't even know how you did that, but I want to do that kind of a thing. And I did my degree. I did a master's in industrial psychology. That's where they really have you hone down on one topic and narrow down your view and get research articles and just make sure you're not plagiarizing anything. And so I plagiarized the shit out of all of it. I didn't do that. But you just get so narrowed in this focus that unless you can measure it, unless you can research it, it doesn't exist. And then there's so much that we're seeing in our world that just you can't explain, that you still have the evidential that you can measure, but then you have the stuff that you really can't measure.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of fun. It's different.
Well,
Mr. Morris, your turn.
Speaking of fun, how'd you get to such a big heart, Ryan? Like, what's the deal with that? Like, why are you loving everybody like that?
My mom. I was adopted, so I have two moms. And both of them have huge, giant hearts. Didn't meet my birth mom until I was older. But my mom was somebody that always was serving and giving, and she's still that. And she taught me, selfless service, and some days it's probably to a fault. As Nick could probably say, but what I found.
Nick will not say it. He's like,
no.
Oh man, there's too much. The craziness is that you can measure what comes out of the other side of Ryan being too giving. It's like there's this stuff that happens and you can document it. It's like, well, keep doing what you do. Be Ryan.
At the beginning, though, like of our relationship, right, is when Nick and I met. It was funny because
I want to do this like the Harry met Sally thing, like, because I don't even know this story. So how did you two, like, animals
You're
Find
Sally
each other.
getting
Ryan,
this
you
story.
do that.
So when I met Sally,
Everyone's watching like, who's
I'm not-
Sally?
I'm not a very
Someone
good
jumping on this
Sally,
like,
man.
who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm changing your name right now to Sally. No, just kidding. You want me to tell the story?
Yeah, yeah. I think
Okay, and
feel
I'll
like
be-
Maybe
I'll be-
stepbrothers when Brendan met Dale,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Did you put your on my drum? Yeah.
Does
You
this
did.
mean we're best friends?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, right.
I'll do the quick and condensed version. If you want to go back and watch any of our shows, you can go back on Wake Up with Giants TV. You can find some of the stuff. You have to listen through all 300 pieces of content to find the real true story.
That's
But
it.
that
Just the
won't take you.
300.
Or,
Yeah,
or
just-
watch Talladega Nights. Shake
Yeah.
and bake, baby.
Yes.
Shake and bake.
I want to go fast. So
Yeah.
here's the fast version. Ryan switched jobs. Nick was working for another RV dealership. I'm an RV salesman. He's in finance. I would watch Nick clock in and check in every day, but he's an introvert.
That's weird. You're
So-
watching them like.
Yeah,
like,
because it was right in front of my desk. Like right in
damn,
front
yo,
of my
look at
desk.
that time card though.
Yeah.
Look at that time card. Oh man,
That is
he
a
hit
top
that hard.
time card.
Dude knows how
Punch.
to push the button.
Yeah,
Punch
he
that.
knows how to do that. Yeah. Sometimes it would beep at you, and, like you got your thumbprint wrong. I'm like, it's just your thumbprint. But Nick would come in and everyone would say, "Hi, Nick." But I don't know who the heck Nick was because he didn't say hi to me ever. Right. And I'm right behind him. All he has to do is like turn to the left and he could see me. He'd walk
So you
straight,
just
turn.
completely snub
right.
at him, just like.
Yeah, it wasn't like mean about it. He'd actually walk in pretty cool, clock in and go sit at his desk. And I'm like, who's this
I
guy that
picture
clocks
this
in
as a
every day?
movie. Like this dude's like strutting in. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
I'm
I
Nick
just picture
Smith.
like you, like with hair, like the wind flowing, like your
Yeah.
suits on, and like
He is.
Ryan's just over there, like eating like a graham cracker sandwich.
It's
It's like,
me. Graham cracker
Hi.
sandwiches.
I walk in shirtless, Fabio.
Yeah.
You know, here
yeah,
A couple of doves and the light shining behind him.
Right. Perfect
was
turn in the
crazy.
corner, just like wink.
I love
real
how
quick,
this
like,
story got embellished so quickly.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
This is how
It's not an
stories go.
embellishment.
He was a
This is
beautiful
how I
man.
picture it.
So that's the truth, right? So then I was like, this is a bunch of bull because I am a people person and everybody else already knows who I am except for this guy. So I'm gonna go over there and figure out who the heck this guy is, and I'm gonna get him to know me. So I went up and I was like, "Who are you?" And I kind of just sat down at his desk, and he's like, and he tells me I'm Nick
Did you
Smith.
proposition him at his desk? Like,
You know
did you
what's
like
weird?
do like
Oh, yeah.
Sharon Stone style, like
Yeah, straight
cross
up.
the legs?
Yeah,
I'm
That's
gonna
the
get
worst-
to know you.
I just had the worst image that a human can have around that.
This
Yeah.
is a, sh-
It's a
this is
nice
this is a
image,
shorn
Nick.
sack. Like it's like fresh.
shorn. It is true. Anyway,
That's just flat out disturbing, Alex.
yeah.
Yeah.
Little did I know that this would happen in the future. This conversation. But there I am, sitting at his desk, and I said, "Tell me about yourself, Mr. Nick Smith." He says, "Well," he doesn't even go into like I'm a finance manager. He's like, "Duh, you can see that I'm here."
Right.
He goes into, "Well, I'm a life coach and an author. Want to see my book?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, duh." He flips around the screen. He was working on it right then and there.
Wow.
Turns it around, starts showing me some stuff, and it was on the computer, and it was a little different than it is now, but I'm reading through it and going, wow, this is crazy. Like, this is crazy awesome. Why isn't it like, can I buy your book? How do you get your book? He's like, no, it's not out yet. Come to find out,
Are
he'd
we
been
talking about
working
the
on it
Johnson
for,
Smalls book.
yeah, he'd been working on this bad boy for like 10 years before that time.
Wow.
There you go. And then he says, I'm a life coach. And I'm like, well, I've done consulting. Is it kind of like consulting? He's like, yeah, kind of, except for with, people's lives. It's consulting people's lives instead of their businesses. And I was like, hey, that sounds sexy and awesome. So how do you get to do that? And he said, well, I'm going to be at an event. It happens to be like the next day. I was like, well, I'm going. So me and my wife hook up and go, and we head out. We go to this place, this shared meeting space where you can rent it out or whatever. And so we go, and he's got dinner, and it's pretty slick. I'm like, this is awesome. Front
Yeah.
row seats. We get there early. it fills up. There was, I don't know, 20, 30 people that show up to the space, and he's with another guy. And they speak and talk, and I'm like, okay, that guy was all right. But like Nick gets up there and then boom, just goes into the mind and how it works. But he's funny about it. Like he was freaking hilarious. And some people weren't getting his jokes, and I'm dying. I'm at the front row just dying. I'm like, this guy's funny. To my wife, like, I don't know what it's gonna take, but I am gonna be in business with this guy. On the way home, I tell my wife that.
Wow.
This is what's gonna happen. She's like, okay, cool. Because that's what I do. I just start doing stuff. So we get back, and the next day I'm like, okay, I'm walking in Nick's office, and I'm like, dude, bro, I got a great idea. You and I together could smash this. And he's like, no. The hell? Like,
damn, the double snub. First, like, I don't even want to say hi to you.
I'm
like,
freshly shorn.
Hey, I just met you, but like, you want to like get married? Like,
I know. Right?
I'm ready to put a ring on it. What's good, Nick?
I have this tendency of somehow, I don't know, like growing on people. So I was like, all right, fine.
It's like a virus. Ryan the Line virus.
Yes, it is. It's like a mold, more like a mold.
Like a mold. Smells like a mold.
Yeah.
Attaches
A little,
like a mold.
little odor to it.
It's the Ryan.
Yeah. Still good though.
Once my doctor got a little bit of that
penicillin
Morris.
on your pizza.
Right.
So then I walk into his office like a few months later. We're sitting there talking, just hanging out, having a great time. And he's all, dude, killer idea. You and I should be in business together. I was like, what? What? No. Okay. That sounds like a great idea.
Let me tell you a secret about Nick Smith. Like, he'll reject your idea, sit on it, and then come back to you with your idea as though it's a new, fresh, awesome
Like
idea.
it is,
right?
We should totally do this.
Hey,
Yeah.
I gotta listen. You're not gonna believe what I got here. I'm cooking up, all right?
Yeah,
That's how you do it.
I got the storyboard
Yeah.
and everything.
Alex, you tell me what your idea is. I'll tell Nick, and a little while later, it's his idea and it's happening.
Like I've always said.
That-
Like I've always said. The quotes become my quotes. Yeah. Alex Dumas says, well, like I've always said.
Yeah.
Now it's my quote.
That's how plagiarism becomes not plagiarism.
Like I've always. Did you get
Don't
wrapped
ask
up
me
like
to cite
that?
that one.
Did you get wrapped up like? Did I actually say that? Wait, who said that first? Oh my god.
Then after that, it was easy because we were like, okay, well, he's like, but this is off limits.
The book he
And I
said.
said, oh, okay. So what are we doing? He's like, sales training. Dude, you're a killer salesman. I've been in sales. I'm in finance. Dude, with our combination, we could go to dealerships. We can teach their bottom third to become the middle or the top third, yada, yada, yada. So we're like, all right, let's do this. So we started this whole stuff. We had curriculum. We had all this stuff. We had a website. We had everything ready to go.
200-page sales book,
Yeah.
calculator that I created. Like,
Good lord.
Yeah. Tons of stuff. And we would meet every like, what was it back then? Monday and
every
Thursday.
Monday, yeah. Monday
Chloe
and
and Chloe times at the Beans and Brew, which is Starbucksy, and we would just meet at the coffee.
Starbucksy. That's like Chili's, like
Yeah, well, it was a
It's
like a
Applebee's.
white.
coffee
It's
shop.
like a
but-
white. It's like a White
Applebee's
Castle.
of coffee shops.
Is that a White Castle? No, they didn't have like sliders. It was just a coffee shop. But there was two gals that worked there, Chloe, and then they got to know us because we'd show up every single day or every single Monday and Thursday. So
Yeah.
we'd go create, and then we decided to go to it was called a Trustegrity meeting, which is like a mastermind meeting for business owners. And we showed up to this meeting, and in walks Richard Paul Evans, the New York Times best-selling author. I think he has like 37, 40, 50, 60.
40,
I don't know.
40 best New York Times
40.
bestsellers,
That's
40
it.
million copies
Yeah.
sold.
Yeah.
But is he an Amazon bestseller though? Like,
Oh yeah, I think he's done just about
You know,
every
you made
darn
it
thing.
when you're an Amazon bestseller.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm not
in an
even
obscure
an Amazon
title, in an
bestseller. Yeah.
obscure like category.
It's the one title I can't add to my list. I am not a bestseller yet.
well, you know what? I don't speak with people who aren't bestsellers, so
Sorry, Nick.
we're gonna have
Alright.
to cancel this episode and just.
He goes dark.
Oh,
What
where's
happened?
I need that graphic.
Well, now
That
the
would
good news
perfect
is I can
timing
tell
for
the
you.
truth. Oh, hi, Nick.
Oh,
I need that graphic now that you guys have. Just that cut in one
Yeah, yeah,
What
with
did
the
I
music.
miss?
yeah. Dang
right.
it! Why don't we have the?
sponsor?
Yeah.
I know we need to do this on
That's your
StreamYard.
giant shout out.
Oh my god.
Keep going, man. You're doing great.
So then,
Richard Paul Evans.
yeah. So then we get Richard Paul Evans and start talking to him. He goes, "You should come to my author ready course. That's like $5,000." But I'm like, dude, Nick, like this, you have to do this. So he goes to his author ready course, and then every night I would go up for dinner. I talked to the gal that was running the deal and said, hey, can I please just come up to the dinner and hang out and whatnot? But Nick's the author, so she said, yeah, sure. It's like $50 or something like that to go up for the dinner. And so I'm sitting there. I meet Paul Cardall. He's a pianist. We start doing some stuff together. Nick comes out of this event and he goes, this is the direction we need to go, and I feel inspired. Like, we're running together. I've seen you show up. I've seen your commitment, your integrity, who you are as a person, and I don't feel like I can do this alone, and I want you there with me, brother. And we just got into commitment and action behind it. Nick was insatiable. Like, his commitment to figuring out how to do the layout and the design and everything that needed to happen to be able to put this book together was incredible. It was awesome to witness, and it started to just fall in line. There was some challenges and some setbacks. COVID didn't help. We finally got it to a place where we liked where the book was at, and said, okay, we're going to do a Kickstarter and launch this bad boy. And so we set the date, we put all the effort into it, we found a place to do it, and COVID hit.
Oh man.
And talk
Perfect
about the
timing.
worst possible time on planet Earth.
March 17th, 2020.
Yep. St.
Yeah.
Patrick's
Yeah.
Day.
St.
Yeah,
Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patty's, wow.
Yep.
We had the
So,
event all planned out. We were going to go live.
live, like all our
Yep.
friends, all our family. We'd started to get the invitations, everything to happen, and that hits. And we go, wow, now what? 2 or 3 weeks in to the Kickstarter with only a few days left. I think there was like 7 or 8 days left.
Yeah, about 7
And
days. Yep.
We're going, man, we're nowhere near our goal. Like, this, the math, it doesn't math based on what's been contributed before and how it was coming in. We get on a call, and who was it? Jay?
Jay Moletsky. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked to Jay Moletsky on a $10 Zoom call or $15 Zoom call. It costs us 10 or $15 to be on this webinar with this
Most
guy.
valuable call I think we've ever done.
Ever. You want to hear this
15
advice?
bucks. Yeah.
Okay, here's the best advice that you could get. And I said, hey, this is where we're at. And I said, we've got 7 days left. We need this much money, and this is what we've done. And he goes, look, I'm an atheist, but at this point I would start praying. And we're like, wait, what? You were supposed to give us like our answer. And he goes, and then I would do everything that you can think of and go as fast as you can. Anything that comes to your mind, you need to do it and run. So we did. We put our heads down. We started emailing anybody that we knew, everybody.
Texting people, having
Texting,
conversations.
not
like-
sexting.
Yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
a little.
No, Ryan, I'm not sure about you. Like,
Please
sure
buy
if we-
this.
if we knew each other back then, I'm gonna be like, is this a nitpick?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
OnlyFans, whatever we
he's
could
shorn?
think
It worked. And then guess what? We got funded.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the other side of the story that nobody knows.
It
The
took off.
shorn
I always
pics.
say it's like an albatross, right? Have you ever seen like the movies where the albatross is running and it's fumbling along the beach and it can't take off? What was it? The Rescuers? Where
Yeah,
he tries
Rescuers.
to take off like that. And then he takes off and he's like magnificent. And our Kickstarter took off like that, just a flat line across, fumbling, and then boom, skyrocketed a
We
week
had-
before.
We had learned from Richard Paul Evans that you needed a network too. So even though we had the funding for the book,
Mhm.
we don't have an audience. So you got the book, but
No
now no
platform.
audience, no
Yeah.
platform. So we said, okay, how are we going to do this? So we more Chloe and Chloe nights, and the idea was brought about a Facebook group, and so obvious ones are friends and family. So you just kind of blast everybody that you know personally,
Yeah.
and you get a couple hundred people in. it stayed that way and grew very, very slow for a while.
But
And
to go
then
back in time a little bit to how we started the Facebook group was with GIF wars.
Oh my
If
God.
you
Tell-
go
tell
all the
that,
way
Nick.
back to the
Yeah.
history, like the very beginning,
will you
it's
tell
like,
that?
yeah, Amy Bingham, she's in Bali right now. You know, she moved there. Incredible person. She's a good friend, and she used to be a league member, you know, the League of Giants. And
Yeah.
we would get on and we'd say 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a GIF war, and
Oh
we
my-
would just go, and it'd be one after the other after. And
We
that
did
was
that
the
with
tribe
with
of giants,
you just
right?
before we hopped on. I don't know if you saw that. We started to do that.
Our second language is GIFs.
That's
So
it.
we would just battle it out, and it would be so long. It was ridiculous. There's no like value in it other than it's making you laugh.
Comedy.
And so that's how we started. And then we got a message into it. How do you be a giant? We'd start sharing things that way. And then it evolved. It just kept evolving into something more tangible, more serving, more usable. So now it's really boring. We need a GIF war.
We do.
I'm
We
just
should do
kidding.
that.
It's not boring. It's awesome.
It was interesting because after that point, we were like, okay, now what else? And do you remember how Wake Up with Giants?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, fire that one off.
So when I had gotten divorced, I was living with my brother up in Draper, Utah. I was in a 1-bedroom in the basement of his house, and I was documenting my journey through divorce. And I was pretty dark and depressed, and it was just me getting on the phone and going live and just talking to whoever would listen, basically. And I'd sit there and share my thoughts about, you know, the way I see the world and the way I think it operates. And I'd share that with everybody. And then it turned into Ryan coming on. I said, why don't we do this together? Let's do a show together and see how it goes. It wasn't a show. It was just going live. And then we'd go out.
It was kind of terrible though.
We'd go on walks with
Truthfully,
people, and we'd do
in
a
the
walk
beginning.
talk, and we'd have people join us on a Zoom, and there's no reception. You can't hear them, and you're talking and you're just walking around. There's no point. We're just walking around. Then we'd go like put our feet in the dirt under a full moon, you know, or whatever, and invite people to that. And so there wasn't real direction to what we were doing. We were just involving people in whatever we were doing, whatever it was. And then it evolved to, let's really create something. And we started using Zoom to create our shows. And we started bringing people on and interviewing, just find out how they became giant. I told Ryan, I used to do what was it called? It was the expert interviews where I would sit and interview people years ago. It was about 10, 11 years ago that I would sit and interview people and ask them questions I wanted to know. I had questions that I wanted answers to, and I wanted to learn from people that were doing it.
Damn,
So I
Larry
got
King
free
Smith.
coaching. Yeah. So for years, I was getting free coaching from people because I would just ask them the questions, and they loved having a podcast and a platform to share.
Yeah.
And I'm just learning. And so Ryan and I started doing that, and we pivoted to our new system now when one interview, StreamYard, it was Zoom nationwide shut down. The whole thing, nationwide. And we were ready to go live, and the whole thing just killed out. So we had to pivot fast. And so we grabbed a new platform that we had seen another podcaster use, and we've been using that ever since. And our show has just gotten better and better. And we've gotten way more comfortable. We used to be so uptight. I used to be so uptight.
Ryan's like, wait, you speak French now? Like, hold on.
Yeah,
wait.
yeah, he does.
We.
But it's more relaxed, and now we have fun with our shows, and we really enjoy them. And the guests that we have on are phenomenal. We've had some incredible people on, and the journeys are just life lessons for everybody. So that was what I used to do with the expert interviews. Now we do with the Giants. We just ask basic questions that we want to know the answers to, things that we think would serve not only us, but the world. And so now it's evolved into a network. If you want to continue, Ryan, you can. And
No,
like
I mean, I just want to cut you off real
that's
quick because you
perfect.
guys are like Twinkle Toes.
yeah,
Like, I might have to rename you guys that because here we have a live event that's going to go on. Big launch party. COVID said, nah, not today, champ.
yeah.
All right, what do? Blast, running gun, hit everybody and anybody, and you make it happen. Hey, we're gonna have a show. Psych. Zoom says no. All right, what do? StreamYard, find another way. I love those stories. I love the overcoming, right? And this made me think about this question popped in my mind to kind of get into the train of thought. Whoa, Brandon, um, of all these challenges, all these different things that came your way, why'd you keep going?
The vision.
Yeah.
The vision. You go back to when I wrote the book back in 09, I had a vision of impacting my kids. And then as I was writing it, I had a vision of it impacting the world. I would do speeches in my car. I would picture the audience and I'd start crying because I'd have emotions around speaking to these audiences that weren't there. And so that vision carried. I mean, for 11 years, this book kind of sat on a shelf while I went to school and worked and provided for my family. And then going through the divorce, I needed something to keep me here. And so I picked it back up and reignited the vision, which was to impact the world. And we didn't have a vision of impacting 100 million lives when we began. We just had a vision of impacting those that we loved, but we had a vision around this book, Ryan, and now it became our vision, not just my vision. And now it's a collective vision. It's even bigger than that. And we have people all over the world now that are a part of it. And now they're coming up with even more visions for us, like blowing my mind, things I couldn't have even seen. And so vision is why, because when you have an obstacle like that, and that was the vision, that experience, and that happens and it shuts down, and that's all you had, you shut down and you give up. And our vision was way beyond that. It was way out there. So we knew that we might have to climb rocks, climb down some cliffs, go around some things, go through a river or two, right?
Yeah,
So it was never a question of do we keep going or not.
I'll tell you, like today was a perfect example of some of it wasn't ever a question, but some of the things that I didn't see, even though we were holding that vision that Nick talks about, because that's what was moving us, is we knew the vision, we got clear on where we want to be. I tell you, there's things that I didn't see that also keep me going and make it worth doing, because there's days where it's there's tired. There's we're human, just like everybody. I know everybody, even though we're the giants, we still have normal lives, and there's still some really hard things that come in. We're normal, just like everybody else.
I don't even think I'm a giant like that way. I'm a human, right? Like,
yeah, just human. And so, but today was interesting because, well, the other day I had a gal come in and was buying an RV from me, and we were talking, and she opened up and shared about her husband committing suicide right in front of her. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I don't want to divulge too much.
Yeah, protect her.
But I will tell you, happened right in front of her and her kids. Like, I mean, we're feet. And today she came in and finalized stuff and put the money down on the RV, and we sat and talked. And I had given her a couple of books that I had in my truck, and they weren't signed, but we shared a moment. And I was just telling her about the Giants and what it's done for me and what it could do for her, and that she was exactly where she needed to be, even though the circumstances were hard. And perspective, and we talked about that for a little while, and how she's worthy and she matters, and her kiddos are amazing, and they're so lucky to have such an amazing mom. And we cried and we hugged. And then today she brought back those books with me, and she said, "Can I get you to sign them?" I said, "I'm going to do you one better." Last night I took a handful of books to Nick's house, and I didn't even say anything. I set him on his counter. I walked out. We talked. We had a cigar and just relaxed for a little bit, created a little bit, and then came back in. He goes, "Hey, I signed all those books for you." "Thank you, brother. I needed some extra books signed, so thank you." Took them home. Didn't know exactly why, but I had them in my truck. And today she comes in, and she has 5 kids. And I said she brought the 2 with her back that I had given her, one for her and one for her kids. She's a teacher too, so I said, "Hey, take this to your school. The other one I want you to read to your kids." She comes back in and she asked me to sign them, and I said, "I'm gonna do you one better. Give me those 2." She's like, "Okay." I said, "Do you trust me?" And she said, "Yeah." And went out to my truck and I grabbed 5 books and I brought them back into her, and they're signed. by Nick. And she breaks down a little bit and starts crying. And she said, "You sign him too?" And I said, "Okay, yeah, you know." So I signed him. And then something hit my heart. And this happened last night too. Pride Smith is Nick's brother. And Pride made these cool copper little hand forged. They can be keychains, necklaces, whatever you want. Yep, stuff like this. But
Oh, that's
he made
dope.
him in key fob form, almost like about this big. And I put one on my keychain just right away. Forgot about it. Something hit my heart. Go grab that. And I walked back over. I didn't say anything, and she said, "Man, thank you so much for these books. You know, I just." She said something about her life and how hard it's been, and she goes, "Nope, there are no accidents, right?"
Hmm.
I said, "You're exactly it. You're exactly right, and you're right on time. And I want to give this to you." And I placed it in her hand, and she just broke down. Yeah, and she cried, and we shared another hug. And I know those moments like that are why I do what I do, and I have them quite often when we go down and teach little kids, and we talk to them about their giant potential. Um, Even in the storm of life, those seem to bring the sunshine and the clarity and the joy, and make all of those things disappear, where you forget about the tired and the hard and the struggles that we went through to bring this around to where it is today.
I don't know if you could hear too in his story. There's a lot inside of this too. Like there are a ton of moments where things like that have happened because of where we work. We still work, you know, and a lot of people think, oh, you guys are just pure, you just do giants all the time. You're an author, so you don't have to work anymore. They think, you know, authors have made it.
Right.
No, we're still working like you are, you know,
Yeah.
we're out there providing for our families and doing these things. And we build the giants in the gaps. So wherever we have space, that gets filled up with giant stuff. And a lot of these opportunities that we have been created because we're at work and we're being us the way we be us at our work. And we have these interactions with people that are just blown. I've given away more books at my work than I have outside, I think. And it's incredible. And these people are, you know, some of them are pretty well connected in the community. We've made some really good friends out of it. You get to experience things like that. You get this paradigm shift of people and who they are and their backstory when you really slow down with them. And the
Alex,
thing is,
you've had those experiences too,
yeah,
because you give away some books and documented the giving and you know, to your kids too.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah. You
kids are
know.
amazing. Sorry,
Yeah.
Nick, I just cut you
no,
off.
you're good. No, I'd rather hear from Alex too. So
Man, listen. Y'all are here to speak. I'm the conductor.
Love you, brother.
I set it up. Y'all knock it
Oh,
out.
I
Yeah.
love it. Ryan, I've never done that to you. I'm just kidding. I do it all the time. It's like that was, yeah. What Ryan says to me is like, yeah, it was a little dickish. What?
He asked me one time, "Sorry, bro, was that a dick move?" I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of a little dickish."
Ish.
Ish.
Just ish, Nick.
It's borderline.
Yeah, but go, Alex. Like, you've had experiences around that. If you have anything fresh, you don't have to make anything up. But if there's something that,
No, I mean, I think these past few months, you guys have been a big part of this growth and development for me, and my comrades are Fantastic Four, as we call ourselves. For anybody who's living underneath one of these, like a rock, like, what are you talking about? Nick and Ryan were instrumental. They're like the honorary Fantastic Four. They're the was it Treacherous 2 or something like that.
I like that. Treacherous 2.
With helping us get this ultimate experience.
The dickish duo.
That's it right there.
Oh no! Hashtag dick double
Brought to you by
D's.
Testacuzzi. You're welcome, Pride.
I was thinking about a song today for that. I'm like, I should make they need to sponsor my show. Like, I'm gonna make like a Testacuzzi, get the tacos. Anyway, so my life is living proof of that. Of not only your generosity, but just how miracles become the regular.
What's going on? You doing all right?
It's gotta have some sound effects in there, like just like it kind of does sound like that. It's like Eartha Kitt's like
just turn into a pay for the tier type show. So if you want tier 2 content,
right?
Yeah.
Hey, we gave you all the heart center stuff now at the start. Now
if you really want to get behind the scenes, like we're as human as you get. So
this is how the
people at home are like,
just so everybody knows, this is how I was recruited to the show. They were like, you know what, we have an idea for you, but we also want to introduce you to this this product that I was like, this doesn't exist, and then they showed me. I'm like,
it does.
This really does exist.
My brother is the creator of that, and man, it's me, him, and my nephew. Some random thing. You think you don't have a good idea or an idea that can take off? Make a testacuzzi, like, you know,
it goes viral.
Taco
goes
koozie.
viral.
Taco koozies next, ladies. We got you. Oh God, where was I going? Train of thought. I'm back.
How to kill a career in 3, 2, 1, go.
Right.
Yeah.
Never hire us again. We will never speak at anything you need us to be at. Every school's like, oh my God, these gentlemen, they call themselves the Dickish Duo.
We mean it lovingly and as professional as possible.
we might have to hire an assistant to get into schools for us. Like, we don't want those dudes. Yeah.
Are you the guys? Anyway, but yeah, it's just experience from November on, and then
funny story. Should I tell that story, Nick? First school we go to, she's like, okay, so I was watching some YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, no. Yeah, I heard you say the F word. You're not gonna say that here though, right?
What, fallopian tubes?
Yeah, right. We're like,
we talking about?
No,
fractals. You heard him say fractals? No, the other F word.
Oh, fudge.
Well, I had to be careful because we taught 300 teachers, special ed teachers in Southern Utah, and I found myself wanting to drop just the way I talk, you know. And
yeah,
I really had some awesome self-control, man.
Yeah, he did awesome.
No F words were given. No,
zero Fs.
No F's given. Love that.
No F's given. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Keep going.
So we still got into a school. Well, not 3 schools and 4 with 300 people in it. It's awesome.
Damn, check y'all out. Y'all are giants. But yeah, y'all afforded me this opportunity. I mean, all these different miracles that happened. Before we started recording, Ryan had a picture of a lovely young lady who we created a miracle for her family, her kids, and it was like, wow, this is like normal now. What would have like blown my mind, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Like, no, this is just what we do. And
so Alyssa Ann, she is. We created a miracle for. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
You know, and just hearing your story, like, Ryan, you're like the miracle dust guy. Like everywhere you go, like a little miracle powder just sprinkles along. It's not crack dust, it's miracle powder. It's
synonymous.
And Nick, you're over here just like, I'm trying to think of who you would remind me of. It's not coming to my brain right now, but you're just like behind the keyboards, behind the master plan, whatever the master
panel.
It's like
Dr. Seuss and Eminem had a baby. He is. He's a lyrical genius. And
he is white. A lexicon. He is a wordsmith.
He is a wordsmith.
He keeps throwing around these big university words.
Yeah.
He wrote a poem on his lunch break that's like killer the other day. He's like, I just wrote a poem on my lunch break.
That's Fabio for you. What do you I mean?
I fell asleep twice on my lunch break. Slept through the second lunch break.
Right.
Well, that's Nick. He eats impossible things and creates miracles,
Yeah, but the combination too. I mean, having the two of us work together, we're different, but it blends so perfectly. It's the energy that comes from us getting on a show together versus one of us doing it. There's a missing piece, right?
Yeah.
So it's there are things that Ryan does. He's extroverted, loves people. He's outgoing. He can create a movement. You know, the Alyssa Ann miracle. He launched that, took off with that with Vanessa Browers and these guys. But he really just took off with it. And that's not me. I'm more introverted. I like my quiet time. I like reflecting, listening, reading books, figuring out how things work, looking at the systems, creating systems, like the nerdy shit that nobody wants to do. So he's out there making me look cool. Yeah. Because he's like the people person. But the blend of it, when we get together, we have this humor that goes between us pretty well. And yeah, so you need people that understand your jokes. And apparently there's a few that appreciate it.
Yeah,
we got a few, but
got a few rascals, and you've recruited an army. You know, myself being part of this, of people that now you've empowered to share a stage, amplify their voices, and connect with folks that would be like, hey, those guys are interesting, or this gal is interesting. Like, I want to learn more about them because they're adding something to me.
Do you want to hear something we're creating now that's out of the ordinary? Can we share a little bit?
Is this an inside scoop?
Nah, I mean, it's a little bit, but not totally.
I'm like, yeah. You're like, no. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it
is. Those are my sound effects. That's the.
Yeah.
So we got, we were having a conversation around, this miracle group that we have with Joe Perone and Grant Waddy, and two powerful humans and paradigm shifters. These guys are paradigm shifters. So we were talking and sharing our ideas around filling a group and teaching the 12 journeys from the giants and the smalls. And Joe Perone just came out of left field with the idea of just really serving people and trusting that the money will come wherever it comes from, kind of like the monk with the ashwan. The money is wherever it is. And it created a shift in me in that meeting where I wanted to try something on that's a little different, unorthodox. Usually we think as coaches, I got to have the money. If they don't pay my fees, my measurement is money. So if I'm not getting that, then I'm not worth very much, right? And so we created a program, and the payment for entry could be that, if that's what stretches you. But the biggest payment is the activity. This is what Joe said, is the payment is the activity. And so we allow people to create themselves into our programs by the activity and the stretch, the miracle that they're going to create for themselves, which is unbelievable, because it could be money, but it could be not money. It could be giving back to the world in some form, that because they're showing up as powerfully as they can, the world shifts, and that's payment. And in some cases that would be worth more than the money. We need the money that still comes in, because we got to keep feeding the family and doing the things we do and growing, right? But the miracles that are coming out of it, we've got people that are shifting the world as their payment. They're really stepping into it, which is a little unorthodox, because the measurement has always been the money, right? But the truth is that it's what the money brings about, or paying that you think it'll bring about, the activity and what's on the other side of it, what you're going to receive for doing that, right? The activity brings some feeling of fulfillment or contentment. And we're creating that even before they enter the course as payment. The action is the payment. And it's not normal. We're a little weird in that sense. And there are people that say, I want to create the money because that's a stretch for me. But there are people that could pay the money, but it's not a stretch for them. So there's no growth. So why would you do that? Yeah. So the activity is the payment. Whatever gets you to stretch and go beyond, you might pay more than our fee because it pushes you to stretch, right? So it's just we're just having fun with that. But we did a meeting tonight, and just being able to sit with people and just sit with them in their growth and really hit them in the heart and have them feel and see their potential and step into it is amazing. Like, to recognize that you're already a giant, start stepping into that, and then go through a course where you're doing that fully for 12 weeks is powerful. So that's something. I hope it's okay that we shared that.
No, it's all right. I was going to ask you what you guys going on, and what do you see in the future? And I love this idea, because nothing commits somebody like inspired action, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, someone with the money, it's nothing to them.
Right.
Putting some time now, committing to some time, committing to some effort. Oh, well, I don't got the. Okay, then it's not a big deal. It's not enough for you.
Yeah.
You know what A lot of that
You
comes
gotta be
from
hungry. See?
you got to be hungry. A lot of that comes from Steve Hardison. So if you go to TBOLIT NFL, if you Google TBOLIT NFL, you'll be able to pull that up about Steve Hardison and Chris Doris. Nick learned this early, and so Nick, this ties back into commitment, back into miracles, back into the Giants and the Smalls.
The train comes back.
Here's pretty interesting. Here it is right here. Here's the tie-in. Nick standing in a food line. He had a conversation with a gal who then introduced him to Steve Hardison. Steve Hardison calls while he's in a food line at the lowest point of his life. Bankruptcy, foreclosure, all the things that are going on, financial ruin, just feeling so small. Takes a call from Steve Hardison. Can't remember the entire call, but what he can remember is when he's talking to Steve Hardison, he goes, "Let me ask you a question. Can you?" Before he can finish the statement, Steve Hardison says, "Yes." Nick says, "Well, how can you say yes? You don't even know what my question is. How can you even say yes? You don't even know." And he says, "There's nothing that you can ask me that's bigger than I am, that I can't do. I can do anything." And thus comes the giant in the book. Nick is Rit. Remy is Steve Hardison in the book. He's listened to Spencer Johnson's Who Moved My Cheese, going up and down the canyon here in Salt Lake City. It's called Parley's Canyon up to Park City. Well, Park City is a very rich and lucrative area, ski resort, Sundance, all the things, big houses. Going, man, how are all these people living such giant lives and I'm living a small life? And he starts recording. He wants to teach his kids that, look, you can be, do, or have anything that you want. You just need to stand on the shoulders of a giant and learn a different perspective, learn something new, do something you've never done before. And so he starts speaking this book into existence, day after day, drive after drive, month after month, year after year. 13 years later, here we are on the best podcast on planet Earth, The Train of Thought with Alex Dumas.
And you're about to have a movie made of this. Like, you talk about the things you can't explain. Like, yeah, you put the work in, you did what you had to do, but whatever you want to name the thing out there, the invisible, infinite intelligence source, God, I mean, come on, that stuff you can't. Okay, mic drop. Like how?
Well, okay, so I want to talk about the movie, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't exist yet. We don't have a contract for a movie. We don't have a screenplay. We don't have a producer. None of this. We don't have anybody.
You have your lead actor, though.
Yeah, we do. Boy, do we.
There's a declaration. Okay, if I'm speaking objective reality, right? To measure it, it doesn't exist right here. But the vision is that it's created. It's a Pixar style, Disney style movie. Yeah. And so on the 22nd of February, we're doing the Johnny Appleseed tour, which is Johnny Appleseed just went and spread apple tree seeds everywhere and grew trees everywhere, right? So we're taking books out to Pixar studios in that area and planting seeds, basically. I have no idea who's going to create this movie or how it's going to come about. I just have the vision for the movie. We have the vision for the movie. And this is where people get hung up, is in the how. They think they have to know the pathway and all of its detail ahead of the game. And the problem with that is they get overwhelmed, or their pathway doesn't pan out and they give up on their dream because their way didn't work. And we're of the opinion that everything is a possibility. If it takes me driving out to Oakland and passing out books as one possibility, I'm going to do it. If there's a movie producer and I can sit with him or her and tell them the story, and that's a possibility, I'm going to do it. That doesn't mean that they're the ones that are going to produce the movie. It's just a possibility. What we've noticed is as we chase possibilities, serendipity comes in and things you're not even looking for come into your space unexpectedly. This is where the magic comes in. The blending of the spirit with the measurable is it comes into your space out of left field. And then all of a sudden you've got this connection that you've been looking for, but you didn't know you were looking for that. Right. And so there's magic in trusting that the path is going to connect. We don't know how the path is going to connect, but it is going to connect. And all our job is to hold trust of that, faith of that, and then keep stepping every day, and everything is a possibility. Everything's a possibility. Even the non-doing is a possibility. You can't screw it up. You can't screw it up. Did you just go dark on us, Ryan?
He just went. I think he went in outer space. He just went
I
in
just
orbit.
put the Ultimate Coach on here too, because Steve Hardison wrote a book called The Ultimate Coach. I got my copy here too.
Yeah,
and Amy Hardison wrote the book with Alan D. Thompson. It's a biography of Steve Hardison's life, and what Nick's talking about, like where Steve is now. He held that vision. He just got into commitment and action and doing. Being Steve Hardison, being Nick Smith. Nick's going to go be Nick Smith and do what he loves to do, which is letting serendipity take over, have conversations, go with the flow, trust that everything will be fine, and have a great time doing it. He went down to Mexico, did this exact same thing, had no plans, had his passport, a little bit of money, his X-Stone necklace, flip-flops, maybe a little undies, and he took off. And
maybe that's questionable.
That was questionable. That's why I threw in the maybe. Freshly shorn.
maybe.
And he headed down to Mexico. Like, who does that? Just like, you don't have no plan. He just said, look, I have a vision. I'm going to go create miracles. I'm going to help people and create awareness. And he went and had a plan. And he's first person. He goes into the airport, and you should tell this story, Nick.
Yeah.
I mean, you have all the pictures documented. I'm like, who the hell is this guy meeting? He's on vacation. Like, he's just out here.
Yeah, I documented the whole journey. That's what I'm going to do with the Appleseed tour, is document the whole thing, because I love providing evidence for people of this crazy magic that happens. So I get to Salt Lake Airport. Let me start back further than that. I wrote in my journal, this is what I wrote before it ever happened. I'm sitting in Puerto Vallarta. My feet are in the sand. I've got a cigar in my hand, glass of whiskey. You can smell the ocean air. It's about 85 degrees. It's beautiful. That's what I wrote.
Yeah.
Before this even happened.
I didn't have a ticket, kind of short on money, didn't know how I was going to do this. Wrote it as though it was. A week later, the guy I work with says, hey, come check out my computer screen. I got to show you something. I had shared, I'd love to go to Mexico, just on passing one time.
Right.
Well, I go in there, and he's got pulled up on his computer screen a trip from Salt Lake City to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, the place I was at.
Wow.
And he books it right there. And I'm like, oh shit, this is getting real. So I start planning like you do. You plan out your trip. And I was thinking, I could go stay at a resort or a hotel and, buy here, eat your food here, all that stuff, which a lot of people do. And they box themselves in, and that's their experience.
Yeah.
And somebody said, why don't you just make an adventure of it? Make it serendipitous like you do. And I said, that actually sounds pretty fun. So I didn't book a hotel, nothing. I didn't have a place to stay when I landed. I had a plane ticket and a passport. I get to the airport, and I go up to the third floor on accident. And this airport's packed. The security lines are packed. There's thousands of people there. I go up to the third floor because I think that's where security is in the new airport. It's the wrong floor. And then I come down, and I hit the second floor, and I'm coming down the escalator to the second floor, and I end up between this man and his wife. And he's down below, and she's up above trying to get on. She's got her arm in a sling and pulling her suitcase along, and is struggling to get on. And I look at him all judgy, like, dude, help your wife. And he looks at me, he knows I'm judging.
Home wrecker.
Mike is like, his name is Mike, and he says, I just had hernia surgery, and she just had shoulder
just
surgery.
It out because of Nick's
I'm like, you guys are a mess.
Look at you.
I'm sorry, I just had surgery.
So we start talking, and they say, we're on our way back to Puerto Vallarta. And I'm like, well, that got my ears perked up. I said, that's interesting. That's where I'm going. And I didn't say anything to them about my plans or anything. And they go their way in security, and I go the long way through security, and we end up at the gate. And I determined I was going to give them a book. So I went and gave them a book, and I said, this is what I'm up to. Didn't ask them for anything. Just told them the adventure I was creating. Well, she got a little nervous, Geraldine. She got a little nervous.
I'm
She's
sure
like,
she must have been like a gringo loco. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, you can't go to Mexico without a plan. So she starts going on this forum and finding all these people who say, this guy's crazy. What an idiot. What the hell is he doing? And about mid-flight, she messages me and says, why don't you come stay with us?
Wow.
I didn't ask for that. They offered, and I said, yeah, that would be awesome. And they said, you can have a place to land if things get bad or whatever, you can come back here. They don't know me.
Wow.
So get there, and they end up being beachfront, 18th floor, beautiful home. Let me stay there for the first night, and somebody had reached out, and this is crazy because here now I had a place to stay in Mexico that I didn't have, and it was created in the flight without me even asking. I didn't ask for it. I ended up in between a couple going to Puerto Vallarta and Salt Lake Airport out of thousands of people. Like, how do you explain that stuff? And then we get there. This is where the miracles happen, right? We get there, and Joe Perone reaches out. He says, hey, man, I've been following your journey. It's beautiful. I want to do something for the family, and so I said, yeah, let's do it. So he sends me a little money to give to them to buy them breakfast. And so I take them some money, and I say, hey, this is from a friend of mine that's watching what we're doing, and he wants to buy you breakfast. And they said, no, we don't need it. We're good. We don't want that.
We're balling,
but here's
baby.
what we can do, right? And so they said, let's give it to this family who's really trying to make it here in Mexico that we are friends with. And so I said, that sounds beautiful. Let's create that. So they went with me down to this family, and I give them a book and a hat, and we go upstairs, and tell me if I'm okay on time, because I'll keep going with this.
No, we're good. Let's roll.
We go to this family, and we go upstairs, third floor, just rickety old style Mexico. Just, there's not much. They don't have much. They're living in the kitchen, and somebody else is living in another room, and somebody else is living in another room, like three or four families in one house, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to build their business, their juicing business, and Geraldine and Mike, they say, hey, Nick's got a gift for you. And I tell her the story of where this money came from and what it's for, and she starts crying. Well, I start crying, even like right now, and she says, yeah, I just was feeling like I'm all alone, like there's no help, I've been left behind, like God's forgotten about me, all this stuff. And I break down, and I grab another $100 out of my pocket and give it to them, and that's what they needed to finish out the bricks on their house and build it up. And we're still creating a miracle for this family, but it was miracle after miracle after miracle on that trip, because there are all these things and all these people that I got to connect to and connect with, that if I had had a plan that boxed me in, I would have missed out on. And I mean, from the guy that stacks rocks on the beach, to a homeless guy who ate breakfast with me, to the Uber drivers, to, like, I didn't have any friends going down, but I had plenty coming home. It's in the ultimate event, Amy talked about Steve. As long as there's people there, he's good. It doesn't matter where you go in the world. That's kind of how I feel. If I can have people to talk to, I'm good. And miracles happen that way. We had people reach out from the tribe and say, hey, will you do this for me? Somebody said, my son's birthday is tomorrow. Will you write his name in the sand?
Yeah. I remember that.
Somebody else said, hey, will you send out a prayer on the ocean on a leaf? Yeah, I'll do that. Somebody saw the name and said, will you do that for us too? Our daughter passed away. Will you do that for us? So I did that. And it was the most, I think, memorable trip I've ever had. Most fulfilling, but all serendipitous, no plan. Had a plan, could have taken care of myself throughout it all, and I did. But these events happened because it was open. There was no like rigidity in my way, right? Which is what I think a lot of us do.
Some of our best supporters are Mike and Geraldine.
Yeah.
They are incredible people. Had us over for dinner, bought cases of books, passing them out left and right. She's out there trying to get them into all the bookstores. We didn't ask her to do any of this.
Yeah.
Now she's doing all of this because of, seeing Nick and doing what he does. And then Mike wears an X stone around his neck, never wears necklaces.
Yeah. Got one of these.
And now he wears one.
Well, I say miracles, the word miracle, if you look at it, it comes from the word smile. and
Oh,
something
here we
you
go.
can't-
Here comes the
can't,
smarts.
can't explain
Here
it.
comes the smarts.
Here comes Hugh.
But that's what we're creating with our tribe members now in these programs and our events is let's change your world so much that you start experiencing things that make you smile, that you can't explain, and you're just smiling about it. It's like, holy crap, how did that happen? And that's fun. It's a whole new energy around what we're doing. And so that's kind of what we're up to.
And there's no secret behind it. That's the crazy thing. It's like, that's it. That's how you can create miracles. Get into action, get committed, trust the universe, start moving. Work your guts out too. It does take work.
Yeah.
There's effort. The law of effort is still there. But trust and get into action, get committed, and watch what happens. Because stuff came into our world, in our space, on Nick's trip, on our creation with Wake Up Giants, on the tribe, everything that we've done, stuff has come out of left field that we had no idea was there until we stepped forward and went down that path, and boom, it comes into our field of view.
There you have it. And at this moment, we're going to bring this ride to a conclusion, because that's what a perfect story, man. That is unbelievable. We could dive into this for like another 2-3 hours, honestly, and it still wouldn't even scratch the surface, man. It's just saying you are the company that you keep. You see the miracles, you be the miracles, and that's what we are. And that word used to like throw me off. It used to be like, ew, miracle. That's so like played out. But I'm like, when you experience it, right? When it happens, like, oh, okay, I get it. Makes sense. Couldn't explain it before. I can feel it. I can touch it. You know, just us. August 1st, you guys invited me on your show last year. I didn't know you guys for maybe a couple of weeks, if that, maybe a month or so. I don't really remember, but you're like, hey, come play, come to our show. And short amount of time, right?
Said, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Next thing you know, you got our shirt on. It's like,
do you have Nick's underwear? He's missing some.
Right. I'm missing a pair too.
Used too. Hello.
Oh,
Yes,
geez.
Lord.
that just got dark, bro. Yeah.
No, but yeah, this has been an incredible episode. This is a great conversation. I'm really glad that we got this moment to share it together and share with the world, because these are the kind of things we talk about off camera. So I'm glad we got it captured here. And
you're welcome, America and the world.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, America.
You thought Captain America was a gift.
Mm-hmm.
It was that story.
You got a dickish duo. Let's go.
Let's
go, champ. Hopefully that movie does not take off. Like someone out there
it
is probably
probably
will,
will, like Sharknado.
Someone's gonna make a shirt.
Yeah. The Dickish Duo, Part 7.
She's like,
We'll
you
take
on
it.
one ball, you on the other one, like. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up. We are done.
All right.
This is conclusion. And
Thanks, everybody.
for anybody who wants to learn more about the Tribe of Giants, the League of Giants, Wake Up with Giants, where do we find y'all? For those who don't know already.
Ryan, do you want to tackle that one, or do you want
Well,
me
I always say farmers only is a good place to start. But like I always said,
nobody
could've-
knows where that what is farmers only?
I think it's a dating site for farmers.
Is that really?
I think it is. Yeah, we're not on there.
Like, why do you guys
That
know
I know
this? Why do you?
We're
why do y'all
on
know about these things?
Facebook, Tribe of Giants. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn. You can find us on YouTube. Go and subscribe. Hit the alert buttons. You know when we go live every single dang time, is what I say.
TikTok.
Nick is a TikTok man.
TikTok. That's it.
That's all he's got. Well, then TikTok.
TikTok.
It's like Team America, Matt Damon.
We were thinking of
TikTok.
at one point doing like snail mail, like actual snail mail. We'll hit you up by a snail, because they do that. They offer that. Pony Express, US Mail, all the social media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
The
We're
interwebs.
everywhere.
The interwebs,
Omnipresent.
Soon Nick will be in your mind. He's just gonna
Well, if
Zap.
Elon Musk is working on that, so
Yeah.
yeah, pretty quick.
2024, it'll happen.
Yeah.
The Giants in 5G, baby.
Yes. But gentlemen, the ride has ended. Whoop, whoop. Chugga chugga. Love you, love you. Appreciate
Love
you.
too, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you too.
Have a great
Until
day.
next time, folks. See you next month.